Dr. Hana looked through the large window of the research station and smiled. Below her, the planet Velthara sparkled like a giant jewel. Crystal trees grew everywhere, making the whole world shine with soft blue light. The butterfly-like people, called Velthari, lived peacefully among these crystal forests. They had wings that looked like stained glass and voices that sounded like music. Hana had been studying this beautiful world for 6 months now. The galactic research station called Harmony's Edge floated in space above Velthara. It was home to 200 scientists from different planets. They all came here to learn about the crystal forests and how they could help other worlds grow better plants. The station was shaped like a big wheel, spinning slowly to create fake gravity. Hana worked in the biology lab on the outer ring. She spent her days looking at crystal samples and plant life through powerful microscopes. The Velthari were very kind and shared their knowledge freely. They taught the scientists how the crystals helped plants grow faster and stronger. Captain Taman walked into the lab that morning, looking worried. He was in charge of the station's small defense force. They had only 6 patrol ships to protect the whole station. Most research stations did not need much protection because space pirates usually avoided peaceful places like this. "Dr. Hana, we are getting strange readings on our long-range sensors," Taman said. His voice was calm, but Hana could see concern in his eyes. "Several large ships are coming toward our system. They are not answering our calls." Hana put down her microscope and followed Taman to the command center. The main screen showed dots moving toward them through space. There were many dots, much more than their small patrol ships could handle. "How many ships?" Hana asked. 17 large ones and 1 very big one," said Lieutenant Jinwoo, who worked at the sensor station. "They all have weapon signatures. These are not peaceful ships." Taman's face became grim. He had served in the Galactic Defense Force before coming to this quiet research station. He knew warships when he saw them. "Send a message to all research teams. Tell them to return to the station immediately. Cancel all surface missions." The next few hours passed slowly. The unknown ships kept getting closer. When they were close enough, the station's computers identified them. They were Skorath Empire vessels. The Skorath were known across the galaxy as brutal pirates who took what they wanted and killed anyone who got in their way. "Incoming message from the lead ship," Jinwoo announced. The main screen changed to show a terrible face. The Skorath looked like a mix between a lizard and a shark. They had gray skin, sharp teeth, and cold yellow eyes. This one wore the uniform of a fleet commander. "Research station. I am Commander Grex of the Skorath Empire," the alien said. His voice was harsh and threatening. "You will give us all your research data on terraforming technology. You will also give us the location of all mineral deposits you have found. You have 1 hour to comply." Taman stepped forward. "This is a peaceful research station under Galactic Council protection. You have no right to demand anything from us." Commander Grex laughed, showing rows of sharp teeth. "The Galactic Council is far away. Their protection means nothing here. Give us what we want, or we will take it from your dead bodies." The screen went black. Taman immediately ordered all patrol ships to launch, but everyone knew it was hopeless. 6 small patrol ships could not fight 17 warships. Dr. Hana watched through the window as their tiny fleet moved out to meet the pirates. The patrol ships looked like insects flying toward a pack of wolves. She thought about all the peaceful Velthari on the planet below. They had never known war or violence. They trusted the galaxy to protect them. The battle did not last long. The Skorath ships had powerful weapons and thick armor. One by one, the patrol ships exploded in bright flashes of light. Captain Taman watched his brave pilots die and could do nothing to help them. In 10 minutes, all 6 patrol ships were gone. "They are sending boarding ships," Jinwoo reported. 20 small ships are heading for our docking bays." Taman grabbed the station-wide communication system. "All personnel, this is Captain Taman. We are under attack by Skorath pirates. Go to the central hub immediately. Bring only what you can carry. Move quickly, but do not panic." Scientists ran through the hallways carrying important research data and personal items. The Velthari research assistants moved like graceful dancers even in their fear. Their wing-like appendages fluttered as they helped human and alien scientists reach safety. Dr. Hana gathered her most important research files and headed for the central hub. As she ran, she could hear the sound of metal being cut. The pirates were breaking through the outer hull of the station. She thought about her family back on Earth and wondered if she would ever see them again. The central hub was a large, round room at the center of the station. It had thick walls and its own air supply. 200 frightened people crowded into the space. Some were crying. Others tried to send messages to their home worlds, but the Skorath were jamming all communications. "Wait," said Dr. Yuki, a communications expert from Japan. "I am getting through on one frequency. It is very weak, but I can send a message." Taman looked at the communication panel. The signal was barely working, but it might reach someone. "Send a distress call on all emergency frequencies. Tell them we are under attack and need immediate help." Dr. Hana helped Yuki type the message. It was simple but desperate. "Mayday, Mayday. This is Galactic Research Station Harmony's Edge. We are under attack by Skorath pirates. 200 civilians in immediate danger. Please send help. Coordinates. Follow." The message went out into space, traveling faster than light through subspace channels. It would reach many worlds and many species, but Hana knew that help would probably come too late. Most civilized species would send diplomats or peacekeepers. That would take days or weeks. Through the hub's small windows, they could see Skorath soldiers moving through the station's corridors. The pirates wore heavy armor and carried energy weapons. They were searching every room, looking for the research data and anyone hiding. A Veltari child named Sila clung to her mother's wing. She was only 5 years old and did not understand why bad people wanted to hurt them. Her mother sang a soft crystal song to calm her, but even the beautiful music could not hide the fear in her voice. "They will find us soon," Taman said quietly to Hana. "When they do, we must cooperate. Give them the data they want. The information is not worth dying for." But Hana was not thinking about the research data. She was thinking about that message they had sent. Somewhere in the galaxy, someone had received their call for help. She did not know that their desperate signal had reached a small blue planet called Earth, where the people were known as Deathworlders. She did not know that humans had a very different idea about how to deal with pirates. The sound of cutting. Metal was getting closer to the central hub. Commander Grex's voice came through the station's speakers, demanding surrender. Time was running out, and help seemed impossible. But in the darkness of space, something was already moving toward them. Something that would change everything. Admiral Jiwon was drinking her morning coffee when the emergency alarm rang through Terran Defense Command. The sound made everyone in the control room look up from their work. Emergency alarms meant someone, somewhere in the galaxy, was in serious trouble. "Admiral, we have received a distress signal. said Lieutenant Commander Sun Ho, the communications officer. "It is coming from the Velthara system, about 40 light years from here." Jiwan set down her coffee and walked to the main display. Screen. The message appeared in glowing letters. Mayday, Mayday. This is Galactic Research Station Harmony's Edge. We are under attack by Skorath pirates. 200 civilians in immediate danger. Please send help. Skorath pirates, Jiwan said, with disgust. She had fought against the Skorath Empire during the border wars 5 years ago. They were cruel and brutal, taking what they wanted and killing anyone who resisted. How many ships are attacking the station? Sensors show 18 Skorath vessels, reported sensor technician Mirai. 17 heavy cruisers and 1 command dreadnought. That is enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Other officers in the room shook their heads. Such a large pirate force would make most civilized species think twice about getting involved. The Galactic Council would probably send negotiators and peacekeeping ships, but that would take weeks. By then, everyone on the research station would be dead, but humans were not like other civilized species. They came from Earth, a planet that most aliens called a death world. Earth was a place where everything tried to kill everything else. Humans had evolved to be hunters, fighters, and survivors. When they saw innocent people in danger, they did not send negotiators. They sent soldiers. "Get me a list of all available ships," Admiral Jiwan ordered. "We need something fast and deadly." "Ma'am, most of our fleet is on patrol duty near the Centauri colonies," said Commander Youngsik, her tactical advisor. "But we do have the Silent Reaper available. She just finished her weapons testing last week." Jiwan smiled grimly. The Silent Reaper was not like other ships in the human fleet. It was an experimental stealth destroyer, built with technology that made other species very uncomfortable. The ship could disappear from sensors completely and carried weapons that violated several galactic warfare treaties. "Perfect. Get me Captain Hunwoo on the communication line." The main screen changed to show a man in his early 30s with calm, intelligent eyes. Captain Hyunwoo had been chosen to command the Silent Reaper because he was one of the few people who could handle the ship's advanced systems without going insane. The ship's bio-neural interfaces required a special kind of mind to operate properly. "Admiral, I assume this is about the distress signal from Velthara," Hyunwoo said. He was standing on the bridge of his ship surrounded by crew members who looked more like Special Forces soldiers than regular Navy personnel. 18 Skorath ships are attacking a research station with 200 civilians, Jiwan explained. "The Galactic Council will probably send diplomats, but those people will be dead long before any help arrives. We need to handle this ourselves." Hyunwoo nodded. "What are our rules of engagement?" "The usual human rules," Jiwan replied. "Protect the innocent, eliminate the threat, make sure the pirates never hurt anyone again." Other species had complicated rules about warfare. They worried about proportional response and diplomatic consequences. Humans had simpler rules. If you hurt innocent people, you get destroyed. It was a philosophy that had served them well during their rise from a dangerous death world to a spacefaring civilization. "I will need a volunteer crew," Hyunwoo said. "This mission could be considered suicide by most standards." "I think you will find plenty of volunteers," Jiwan replied. "How many people do you need?" 30 should be enough. The Silent Reaper is designed for a small crew. Within 2 hours, Captain Hyunwoo had his volunteers. Lieutenant Minji volunteered to be the weapons specialist. She was an expert in the ship's experimental gravitational weapons. Ensign Dong Yun signed up as tactical officer. He was young, but had graduated at the top of his class from the military academy. Communications officer Youngji joined because she was the best at electronic warfare in the entire fleet. Engineer Sergeant Kyungmin volunteered because he understood the ship's bio-neural systems better than almost anyone. Chief Gunner Sung-hee came aboard because she enjoyed making big explosions, and the Silent Reaper had the best weapons in the human navy. Each crew member understood what they were volunteering for. The Skorath had superior numbers and firepower. Most tactical computers would calculate their chances of success at less than 10%. But humans had never been good at listening to computers when innocent people needed help. The Silent Reaper was not a beautiful ship like the elegant vessels built by other species. It looked like it had been designed by predators for hunting other predators. The hull was black as deep space and covered with sensor-absorbing materials. Weapons ports were hidden behind armored panels that could open in microseconds. The ship's most unusual feature was its bio-neural interface system. Human brain tissue, specially modified and grown in laboratories, was connected to the ship's computer network. This allowed the crew to think at machine speeds and react faster than any purely electronic system. Captain Hyun-woo settled into his command chair and felt the bio-neural interfaces connect to his nervous system. Suddenly, he could feel the ship around him like it was part of his own body. He could sense the power flowing through the engines and the readiness of every weapon system. "All stations report ready, Captain," said Lieutenant Minji from the weapons console. Her hands danced over controls that most people could not even see. The bio-neural interfaces made the crew work together like a single organism. "Navigation. Plot a course for the Velthara system," Hyun-woo ordered. "Maximum speed." "Sir, that will require a level 5 FTL jump," reported Navigation Officer Sung-ho. "Most species consider that extremely dangerous." "Most species did not evolve on a death world," Hyun-woo replied. "Execute the jump." The Silent Reaper disappeared from Earth space in a flash of twisted light. The ship tore through subspace at speeds that would terrify most alien pilots. Human engineering was different from other species. Where aliens built for safety and comfort, humans built for effectiveness and survival. In the ship's small briefing room, the crew studied everything they knew about Skorath tactics and technology. The pirates were tough fighters, but they were used to bullying weaker opponents. They had never faced humans in serious combat. "The Skorath rely on overwhelming firepower and intimidation," explained Tactical Officer Dong Yun. "They expect their enemies to surrender when they see how many ships they have." "They are about to learn that humans do not surrender," said weapons specialist Minji, "especially when innocent people are in danger." The journey to Velthara would take 18 hours at maximum speed. During that time, the crew prepared for what they called pest control. They checked every weapon, ran combat simulations, and studied the layout of the research station they were going to save. Captain Hyun-woo knew that by the time they arrived, some of the people on Harmony's Edge might already be dead. But the pirates would pay for every life they took. The Skorath Empire was about to learn why most species feared the Deathworlders from Earth. The Silent Reaper raced through the darkness between stars, carrying 30 humans who were very angry about what was happening to innocent people. Behind them, Admiral Ji-won was already preparing to send more ships if needed, but she suspected that 30 angry humans would be more than enough. The Silent Reaper dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Velthara system with a flash that bent space around it. Most ships would need several minutes to recover from such a violent transition back to normal space. The human Ship was ready to fight in seconds. Captain Hyun-woo felt the bio-neural interfaces adjust to the new environment. Through the ship's sensors, he could see everything in the star system as clearly as if he was standing in the middle of it. The research station Harmony's Edge floated near the beautiful crystal planet, surrounded by 18 Skorath warships, like wolves around wounded prey. "Tactical analysis complete," reported Ensign Dong-yun from his station. The young officer's eyes were closed as he connected directly to the ship's sensor network through bio-neural links. "The pirates have positioned themselves in a standard intimidation formation. They are not expecting any serious resistance." Lieutenant Minji studied the enemy ships through her weapons control interface. Each Skorath vessel appeared in her mind like a detailed blueprint, showing weak points and weapon placements. Their shields are at minimum power. They are confident that no one will challenge them. This was typical Skorath behavior. The pirates were bullies who relied on fear and overwhelming numbers. They had probably never fought an enemy that was actually dangerous. Most civilized species would see 18 warships and immediately try to negotiate or retreat. Humans were not most civilized species. Communications Officer Young-ji was listening to radio traffic between the pirate ships. Her bio-neural enhanced. Hearing could pick up even encrypted messages. "Captain, they are discussing how to divide the research data and whether to sell the scientists as slaves or just kill them all." Hyun-woo's jaw tightened. The bio-neural interfaces carried emotions as well as data, and every crew member could feel their captain's cold anger. It flowed through the ship's systems like ice water, making everyone more focused and deadly. Engineer: "Kyung-min, what is the status of our special systems?" Hyun-woo asked. Sergeant Kyung-min monitored the ship's most advanced and dangerous technologies from his station in the engineering section. "All stealth systems are online and ready. The gravitational lance is charged to full power. Our bio-neural AI is active and hungry for combat data." The ship's artificial intelligence was unlike anything built by other species. Most aliens created AIs that were helpful and friendly. Humans had created an AI that was designed to hunt and kill. They called it Fenrir, after an ancient Earth legend about a wolf that would devour gods. "Fenrir, show me the tactical situation," Hyun-woo commanded. Voice that sounded almost human but not quite answered from the ship's speakers. "Good morning, Captain. I have analyzed the enemy formation and identified 17 different ways to eliminate all targets. Would you like me to recommend the most efficient method?" "Show me the options." The main display screen filled with tactical projections. Each Skorath ship was highlighted in red, with arrows showing attack vectors and estimated destruction times. Fenrir had calculated everything from complete stealth elimination to direct frontal assault. The most interesting option is a gradual elimination pattern, Fenrir explained with what almost sounded like pleasure. "We can destroy their ships one by one while remaining undetected. The psychological effect on the surviving pirates will be educational." Chief Gunner Sung-hee smiled as she watched the projections. She had volunteered for this mission because she believed that pirates deserved whatever happened to them. "I like the way this AI thinks." Captain Hyun-woo studied the enemy formation more carefully. The Skorath ships were spread out around the research station, but they were focused on their target. None of them were watching for threats from outside the system. It was a perfect setup for a predator attack. "Activate full stealth mode," he ordered. "Take us into the formation. Silent running." The Silent Reaper disappeared from all sensors as its stealth systems activated. The ship's hull absorbed energy instead of reflecting it, making it invisible to electromagnetic detection. Advanced gravitational dampeners hid its mass signature. Even if someone looked directly at it through a window, special light-bending fields would make it nearly impossible to see. The ship moved through space like a shark swimming through dark water. Its bio-neural navigation system could calculate courses that avoided all sensor sweeps and observation points. Within 30 minutes, the Silent Reaper was floating silently among the pirate fleet. "We are now inside their formation," reported Navigation Officer Seung-ho. "Distance to nearest target, 2,000 meters. Hyun-woo could see the closest Skorath ship through the Silent Reaper's enhanced visual sensors. It was a heavy cruiser called the Blood Claw, carrying enough weapons to destroy a small city. Through the enemy ship's windows, he could see Skorath pirates moving around inside, preparing to board the research station. "Youngji, what are the pirates saying to the research station?" The communications officer listened to the radio traffic for a moment. "Commander Grex is demanding that the scientists surrender in the next 2 hours. He says if they do not open the doors to the central hub, he will start executing hostages." Through the ship's bio-neural network, every crew member felt the same. Cold determination. The pirates had made their choice. Now the humans would make theirs. "Fenrir, begin detailed scans of all enemy vessels," Hyun-woo ordered. "I want to know everything about their systems, their crew, and their capabilities." The AI's sensors reached out like invisible fingers, touching each pirate ship and learning its secrets. Bio-neural interfaces could detect heartbeats, brain activity, and emotional states from across vast distances. Within minutes, Fenrir had created detailed profiles of every Skorath pirate in the fleet. "Interesting," the AI said. "The pirates are very confident. Their stress levels are low. They believe they are completely safe. Several of them are already planning how to spend the money they will get from selling the research data." "Lieutenant." Minji checked her weapons one more time. The gravitational lance was a weapon that most species considered impossible to build safely. It used contained micro-black holes to create focused gravity fields that could tear apart matter at the subatomic level. Only humans were crazy enough to put such dangerous technology on a warship. "Captain, we have a problem," reported Tactical Officer Dong-yun. "Long-range sensors are detecting movement from the research station. The pirates are preparing to board in force. They have given up on waiting for surrender." Through the Silent Reaper's sensors, they could see Skorath boarding craft detaching from the larger ships. Each small vessel carried 20 armed pirates. They were heading for the docking ports of Harmony's Edge, ready to break in and take what they wanted by force. "How long before they reach the station?" Hyun-woo asked. 8 minutes at current speed." The captain made his decision quickly. The time for careful planning had ended. Now it was time to show the pirates what happened when they threatened innocent people under human protection. "All stations prepare for combat. We are going hunting." The Silent Reaper's weapon systems came online with deadly silence. Energy flowed through gravitational lances and plasma cannons. The bio-neural interfaces connected every crew member to the ship's targeting systems. 30 human minds became one deadly organism focused on a single purpose. The pirates had no idea that death was floating silently among them, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They were about to learn why most of the galaxy feared the Deathworlders from Earth. In 8 minutes, the boarding craft would reach Harmony's Edge. In 7 minutes, the Skorath Empire would discover what human justice looked like. The Silent Reaper moved through the pirate formation like a ghost made of metal and death. Captain Hyun-woo felt every movement of his ship through the bio-neural interfaces. The vessel responded to his thoughts as naturally as his own arms and legs. Around him, his crew worked with the smooth coordination of a predator pack that had hunted together for years. Target acquired. whispered Lieutenant Minji from the weapons station. Her eyes were closed as she connected directly to the ship's targeting systems. Through bio-neural links, she could see the enemy ship in perfect detail, down to individual hull plates and weapon ports. The target was a Skorath heavy cruiser positioned on the outer edge of the formation. It was called the Bone Render, and it carried enough firepower to level a city. Right now, its crew was focused on watching the research station, never imagining that death was floating silently just 2 kilometers away. Confirmed target lock on primary weapons systems, Minji reported. Gravitational lance is ready to fire. Captain Hyunwoo studied the tactical display through his neural connection. The gravitational lance was humanity's most terrible weapon, created by scientists who understood that sometimes survival required building things that should not exist. It used controlled micro-black holes to create gravity fields so intense they could collapse matter at the quantum level. Most civilized species had banned such weapons. They said they were too dangerous, too inhumane. Humans had built them anyway, because they understood that evil could only be stopped by superior force. "Fire!" Hyunwoo commanded. The gravitational lance struck the Skorath ship without sound or flash. There was no dramatic explosion, no spreading fire. One moment, the Bone Render was a massive warship floating in space. The next moment, it was collapsing inward on itself as gravity crushed its hull like an invisible fist. The ship imploded so quickly that its crew did not even have time to scream. In 3 seconds, a vessel that had carried 800 pirates became a sphere of compressed metal floating in space. "First target eliminated," reported Tactical Officer Dong-hyun. "No distress signal sent. The other ships do not appear to have noticed." This was the terrible beauty of human stealth technology. The Silent Reaper could kill without being seen, heard, or detected. The remaining pirates would not even know they were under attack until it was too late to save themselves. Engineer. Sergeant Kyungmin monitored the ship's bio-neural AI from his station in the engineering section. Fenrir was processing the destruction of the first target, learning and adapting its combat algorithms in real time. Fenrir enjoyed that, Kyungmin reported with a slight smile. The AI is requesting permission to select the next target. Granted, Hyunwoo replied. Choose something that will send a message. The artificial intelligence scanned the remaining pirate ships with electronic senses that could penetrate their hulls and analyze their systems. I recommend the ship designated Skullbreaker. It contains the largest concentration of boarding troops. Eliminating it will reduce the immediate threat to the research station. Through the bio-neural network, the crew could feel Fenrir's digital satisfaction as it calculated attack vectors and predicted the psychological impact on the surviving pirates. The AI had been programmed to understand human concepts of justice and vengeance. The Silent Reaper glided silently toward its second target. The Skullbreaker was a troop transport carrying 300 Skorath Marines. These were the pirates who would break into the research station and murder innocent scientists. They deserved no mercy, and they would receive none. Communications Officer Youngji listened to radio chatter between the pirate ships. Captain, the enemy is getting impatient. Commander Grex is ordering the boarding parties to launch in 4 minutes. Then we had better work faster, Hyunwoo replied calmly. The Silent Reaper's weapon systems had been designed by humans who understood that war was not a game with rules. The ship carried plasma cannons that could melt through any known armor, missile systems that could track targets across star systems, and electronic warfare equipment that could turn an enemy's own computers against them. But today they were using more subtle tools. Target locked, reported Chief Gunner Sung-hee, firing precision charges. Instead of destroying the Skullbreaker completely, the Silent Reaper fired a spread of small explosive charges that struck the ship's weapon systems and engines. The explosions were carefully calculated to disable rather than destroy, leaving the crew alive but helpless. Direct hits on target, Seung-hee reported with satisfaction. Enemy ship is disabled. Life support is intact, but they are not going anywhere. The Skoreth crew of the Skullbreaker suddenly found themselves floating dead in space. Their engines were offline, their weapons were destroyed, and their communication systems were jammed. They were alive, but they were no longer a threat to anyone. "Why did we not destroy them completely?" asked Ensign Dong-yun. Captain Yun-woo smiled grimly. "Because fear is sometimes more useful than death. When this is over, those pirates will go back to their empire and tell everyone what happened here. They will spread the story of how human ships can appear from nowhere and destroy entire fleets." This was human psychological warfare at its finest. By leaving some enemies alive to tell the tale, they would create fear that would protect other innocent people in the future. Pirates would think twice before attacking research stations if they knew Deathworlders might be watching. "Movement detected," reported Navigation Officer Sung-ho. "The remaining boarding craft are launching from their ships. 17 small vessels heading for the research station." Hyun-woo felt the cold anger of his crew through the bio-neural network. The pirates were still planning to attack the innocent scientists, even after losing 2 ships. They either had not noticed the missing vessels, or they did not care about the safety of their own people. "Fenrir, new priority target," the captain commanded. "The boarding craft, eliminate them before they reach the station." The AI's response came immediately. "Acknowledged. Switching to rapid engagement protocol. Calculating optimal destruction sequence." The Silent Reaper's point defense systems came online. These were smaller weapons designed to destroy fighters and missiles, but they would work perfectly against the lightly armored boarding craft. The ship's bio-neural targeting system could track dozens of small, fast-moving targets simultaneously. "Engaging multiple targets," reported Lieutenant Minji. "Time to intercept, 90 seconds." The human ship accelerated silently through space, still invisible to all sensors. Its advanced stealth systems bent light and absorbed energy, making it impossible to detect even when moving at high speed. To the pirates, their boarding craft would simply start exploding for no apparent reason. "First wave of boarding craft destroyed," Seung-hee announced as her weapons found their targets. "Second wave eliminated. Third wave is breaking formation and trying to retreat." But there was nowhere to run. The Silent Reaper was faster, more maneuverable, and far more deadly than anything the pirates had ever encountered. One by one, the boarding craft disappeared in brief flashes of light. "All boarding craft eliminated," Minji reported. "The immediate threat to the research station has been neutralized." Communications Officer Youngji was monitoring Skorath radio channels. "Captain, the pirates are starting to panic. Commander Grex is demanding to know what happened to his boarding parties. No one has any answers." Through the research station's emergency frequencies, they could hear Dr. Hana trying to understand what was happening. "This is Harmony's Edge calling any friendly vessels. We saw explosions around our station. Are there rescue ships in the area?" Captain Hyun-woo made a decision. It was time to let the innocent people know that help had arrived. "Youngji, open a channel to the research station. Use standard encryption." "Channel open, sir." "Research station. Harmony's Edge, this is Captain Hyun-woo of the Terran Defense Force ship Silent Reaper. We received your distress call. The boarding threat has been neutralized. Stay in your safe area until we have eliminated all hostile vessels. There was a long pause before Dr. Hana's voice came back, filled with hope and disbelief. Silent Reaper, this is Dr. Hana. Are you saying there is only one human ship out there? Affirmative. One ship, 30 crew members, more than enough to handle a few pirates. The confidence in the captain's voice carried through the bio-neural network to every member of his crew. They were humans from Earth, evolved from the deadliest predators their dangerous planet could produce. 18 pirate ships was not a challenge, it was just target practice. Commander Grex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dread Sovereign, trying to understand what was happening to his fleet. In the last 10 minutes, he had lost contact with 2 heavy cruisers and all of his boarding craft. His sensor operators could find no trace of enemy ships anywhere in the system. "Report!" he snarled at his communications officer, a nervous Scarrath named Vex. "Sir, the Bone Render and Skullbreaker are not responding to any signals," Vex replied, his clawed hands shaking as he worked his controls. The boarding parties launched on schedule, but then they just disappeared. Grex studied the tactical display with growing confusion. His ships showed as green dots arranged around the research station. But 2 of those dots were dark, and 17 smaller dots representing the boarding craft were simply gone. "Sensors, full spectrum sweep of the area," he commanded. "Find me whatever is destroying my ships." The sensor operator, a female Scarrath, named Crix, ran every detection system the flagship possessed: electromagnetic, gravitational, thermal, quantum. Nothing showed any trace of enemy vessels. "Sir, there is nothing out there. Space is completely empty except for our remaining ships and the research station." But something was definitely out there. Something that could destroy heavy cruisers without being detected. Commander Grex had fought in dozens of battles across the galaxy, but he had never encountered anything like this. On the Silent Reaper, Captain Hyunwoo watched the pirate commander's confusion through advanced surveillance systems. Bio-neural interfaces allowed his crew to monitor radio communications, read electromagnetic signatures, and even detect the emotional states of individual enemies. "The pirates are getting nervous," reported Communications Officer Youngji. "Their stress levels are rising significantly. Some of them are suggesting they should retreat." "But Commander Grex is refusing to leave," added Tactical Officer Dong Yun. "He thinks this is some kind of advanced cloaking technology. He has ordered his ships to fire random shots into empty space, hoping to hit whatever is attacking them." Hyunwoo felt grim satisfaction through the bio-neural network. Fear was a powerful weapon when used correctly. Every moment the pirates spent confused and frightened was another moment the innocent people on the research station remained safe. "Fenrir, analysis of enemy psychological state," he commanded. The ship's AI responded immediately. "The Scarrath are experiencing significant stress indicators. Their decision-making capacity is degraded by approximately 30%. I recommend increasing psychological pressure before proceeding to direct elimination." Lieutenant Minji smiled as she monitored the ship's weapon systems. "I have a suggestion, Captain. What if we let them see us for just a moment? Give them a glimpse of what they are really facing." It was a dangerous idea. The Silent Reaper's greatest advantage was its invisibility. But sometimes the best way to terrify an enemy was to show them exactly how outmatched they were. "Do it," Hyunwoo decided. "Drop stealth for 5 seconds, then engage again. Let them get a good look at us." Engineer Sergeant Kyungmin adjusted the ship's cloaking systems. Stealth field dropping in 3, 2, 1, mark. For exactly 5 seconds, the Silent Reaper became visible to every sensor in the Scarrath fleet. The human warship appeared like a nightmare made of metal and death, floating silently between two pirate cruisers. Its black hull absorbed light, like a hole in space, and weapon ports glowed with barely contained energy. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the ship vanished again. On the Dread Sovereign, sensor operator Crix stared at her instruments in shock. "Commander, I detected a large vessel for 5 seconds. It was right in the middle of our formation." "What kind of ship?" Grex demanded. "Unknown design, sir. The computer could not identify the class or origin, but it was heavily armed and—" She paused, checking her readings again. "Sir, it was less than 1 kilometer from our position." A chill ran through the pirate crew. Something had been floating next to their flagship, close enough to ram them, and they had never known it was there. Whatever technology could achieve such perfect stealth was far beyond anything the Skorath Empire possessed. All ships, maximum. "Alert," Commander Grex ordered. "Fire control on automatic. Shoot at anything that moves." But the Silent Reaper was not moving. It was hunting. Captain Hyunwoo had positioned his ship directly above the pirate flagship, close enough that he could see individual Skorath moving around inside through the bio-neural visual enhancement systems. "Target selection, Captain?" asked Chief Gunner Sung-hee. Hyunwoo studied the remaining pirate vessels through his neural connection to the ship's sensors. 15 heavy cruisers and 1 command dreadnought. Each ship carried hundreds of pirates who had chosen to make their living by hurting innocent people. "Begin systematic elimination," he ordered. "Start with the ships on the outer edge of their formation. Work our way toward the center. I want Commander Grex to watch his entire fleet disappear before we deal with him personally." The Silent Reaper moved like a predator stalking prey through tall grass. Its bio-neural navigation system calculated routes that kept it hidden behind debris fields and energy shadows. The ship could appear anywhere in the enemy formation without warning. "First target locked," reported Lieutenant Minji. "The cruiser Shadowfang is isolated from the main group." The gravitational lance fired again, its invisible beam reaching across space to touch the Skorath vessel. This time, instead of complete destruction, Minji adjusted the weapon's settings. The gravity field tore away the ship's engines and weapon systems while leaving the crew compartments intact. The Shadowfang went dead in space, its crew alive but helpless. Through the bio-neural communication intercepts, the Silent Reaper's crew could hear the panicked radio calls from the disabled ship. "Engine room is not responding. Weapons are offline. We are completely dead in space." "Second target acquired," Seung-hee announced. "The Venom Strike is moving to investigate the Shadowfang." This time, the humans used different weapons. Plasma cannons fired precisely targeted shots that melted the Skorath ship's sensor arrays and communication equipment. The Venom Strike found itself blind and deaf, unable to see enemies or call for help. "Third target, the Blood Moon, is trying to retreat to the edge of the system," reported Dong-yun. "Not today," Hyunwoo said coldly. The Silent Reaper's advanced engines could accelerate faster than most species thought possible. The ship caught up with the fleeing pirate vessel in minutes and disabled it with surgical strikes to its faster-than-light drive. On the Dread Sovereign, Commander Grex watched his fleet being systematically destroyed by an enemy he could not see, hear, or understand. In 20 minutes, 6 of his ships had been eliminated or disabled. His crew was on the edge of panic. "Sir, we should retreat immediately," suggested his tactical officer. "Whatever is attacking us has technology far superior to ours." But Grex was a pirate commander who had built his reputation on never backing down from a fight. Running away would destroy his standing in the Skarath Empire. No retreat! All remaining ships form a defensive circle around the flagship. Concentrate all firepower toward the center. It was exactly the wrong decision. By clustering his ships together, Commander Grex had made it easier for the Silent Reaper to target multiple vessels at once. The human ship could now eliminate several pirate cruisers with each attack run. Enemy ships are bunching up, observed Tactical Officer Dong Yun. They are making themselves vulnerable to area effect weapons. Captain Hyunwoo felt the cold satisfaction of his crew through the bio-neural network. The pirates were reacting exactly as human military doctrine predicted. Fear and confusion were making them easier to defeat. "Weapons free," he commanded. "Begin rapid elimination sequence." The Silent Reaper struck like lightning from a clear sky. Gravitational lances and plasma cannons fired in coordinated bursts, disabling multiple pirate ships simultaneously. The human vessel moved through the enemy formation like a shark among minnows, invisible and unstoppable. Within 10 minutes, only 3 Skarath ships remained operational, 2 heavy cruisers and Commander Grex's flagship. The rest of the pirate fleet floated helplessly in space, their crews alive but completely unable to fight. "Commander Grex is calling for reinforcements," reported Communications Officer Youngji. "But the nearest Skarath fleet is 6 days away." Captain Yunwoo opened a direct channel to the pirate flagship. It was time to have a conversation with the alien who had threatened innocent people under human protection. "Commander Grex, this is Captain Yunwoo of the human vessel Silent Reaper. You have 5 minutes to surrender unconditionally, or I will finish destroying your fleet." The response came back immediately, filled with rage and confusion. "Human? Impossible! Your species lives on the other side of the galaxy. There are no human ships in this sector." "You are wrong about that," Hyunwoo replied calmly. "You are also wrong if you think distance will protect you from us. When you threaten innocent people, humans will find you no matter where you try to hide." There was a long pause before Commander Grex spoke again. When he did, his voice carried the first hint of fear. "What do you want?" Captain Hyunwoo stared at the tactical display showing the crippled pirate fleet. Through the bio-neural interfaces, he could feel the cold anger of his crew flowing through the ship's systems like ice water. The Skarath had made a terrible mistake, and they were about to learn the price of threatening innocent people under human protection. "What do I want?" Hyunwoo repeated Commander Grex's question. "I want you to understand something very important. You attacked a research station full of peaceful scientists. You threatened to murder innocent people. That was a mistake." On the pirate flagship, Commander Grex was trying to understand how his overwhelming advantage had turned into a complete disaster. 18 ships should have been more than enough to handle any threat. But somehow, a single human vessel had destroyed or disabled most of his fleet without even being seen. "Listen, human," Grex said, trying to sound confident despite his fear. "This is a misunderstanding. We are not here to hurt anyone. We just want the research data. Give us what we came for, and we will leave peacefully." Communications Officer Youngji was monitoring all Skarath radio channels through the bio-neural network. She could hear what the pirates were saying to each other, not just what they were saying to the humans. "Captain, that is a lie," she reported. "Internal communications show they have already executed 12 researchers they captured on the outer levels of the station. They killed them to make an example." The news hit the human crew like a physical blow. Through the bio-neural interfaces, every person on the Silent Reaper felt the same surge of rage. Innocent people had died while the humans were still traveling to help them. The pirates had murdered scientists whose only crime was studying crystal. Trees on a peaceful planet. Lieutenant Minji's hands tightened on her weapon controls. Captain, request permission to use the experimental bioweapons. These pirates deserve to experience terror before they die. The experimental bioweapons were humanity's darkest creation, designed by scientists who had studied every form of fear and pain that organic nervous systems could experience. The weapons did not just kill, they made sure the target experienced maximum suffering before death claimed them. Most human commanders would never authorize such weapons except in the most extreme circumstances. But 12 innocent people were dead, murdered by pirates who thought they could threaten anyone they wanted without consequences. Permission granted, Captain Hyunwoo said quietly. Begin with the ships that provided the boarding parties. Engineer. Sergeant Kung Min activated systems that had never been used in actual combat. Bioweapon systems coming online, targeting nervous system frequencies for Skorath physiology. The bioweapons worked by sending precisely tuned electromagnetic pulses that disrupted neural pathways in specific ways. The victim would experience every possible fear their brain could generate, followed by sensations of pain that no natural injury could cause. Death would come eventually, but not quickly. Broadcasting neural disruption signals to the cruiser Dark Talon, reported Chief Gunner Sung-hee. Direct hit on all crew areas. On the Dark Talon, 300 Skorath pirates suddenly found themselves experiencing the worst nightmare their minds could create. Some saw their worst childhood fears come to life. Others felt like they were burning alive, drowning, and falling into endless darkness all at the same time. The ship filled with screams that could be heard across space through the radio channels. Second target, the ship Flesh Ripper, Sung-hee continued. Bioweapons deployed. The process repeated on ship after ship. Pirates who had laughed while murdering innocent scientists now experienced terror beyond anything they had imagined possible. Their screams echoed through the radio frequencies, letting the surviving pirates hear exactly what was waiting for them. Commander Grex listened to his crews dying in agony and felt fear like he had never known before. "Stop this! Please! We surrender! We will leave immediately!" But Captain Hyunwoo was not finished. The humans had received intelligence about Skorath operations from their ship's bio-neural scanning systems. These pirates were responsible for attacks on 17 different research stations over the past year. Hundreds of innocent people had died because of them. "Commander Grex, you seem to misunderstand the situation," Hyunwoo said calmly. "This is not a negotiation. This is justice. You have murdered innocent people across the galaxy, and now you will pay the price." Tactical Officer Dong-yun was monitoring the remaining pirate ships. "Captain, 2 cruisers are attempting to escape. They are charging their faster-than-light engines. Stop them!" Hyunwoo ordered. The Silent Reaper moved faster than the eye could follow, appearing next to each fleeing ship and disabling their FTL drives with precision plasma shots. The pirates found themselves trapped in the Velthara system with no way to escape. "All pirate vessels are now immobilized," reported Navigation Officer Sung-ho. "They cannot run, and they cannot fight." On the research station, Harmony's Edge, Dr. Hana and the other survivors watched through the observation windows as the pirate fleet was systematically destroyed. They could see flashes of light in space as weapons fired, but they could not see the human ship that was doing the fighting. "Silent Reaper, this is Dr. Hana," she called on the radio. "We can see explosions out there. Are you winning?" Dr. Hana, The immediate threat has been eliminated, Captain Hyunwoo replied. However, we have learned that the pirates killed 12 of your colleagues during their initial boarding. I am sorry we could not arrive in time to save them. There was silence from the research station as the survivors absorbed this terrible news. Then Dr. Hana's voice came back, filled with grief and anger. They killed Dr. Park and his entire team. They were studying flower pollination. They never hurt anyone in their entire lives. The names of the dead flowed through the silent reapers. Bio-neural network. Dr. Park, Dr. Lisa Chen, Dr. Kumar, and 9 others. Scientists who had dedicated their lives to learning and discovery, murdered by pirates who saw no value in knowledge or peace. Commander Grex, Captain Hyunwoo said, opening the channel to the pirate flagship again. I want you to listen very carefully to what I am about to tell you. In 30 seconds, I am going to destroy your ship and every other ship in your fleet. You and your crews will die, but not quickly. Wait! Grex's voice was filled with panic. You cannot do this! The Galactic Council has laws about proportional response. You are violating treaties! Hyunwoo's laugh was cold and without humor. The Galactic Council is not here. Their laws do not apply when innocent people are murdered. We have different laws, Commander. Human laws. Through the bio-neural interfaces, the entire crew could feel their captain's determination. This was not just about revenge. This was about sending a message to every pirate in the galaxy. When you attack innocent people, humans will find you. And when humans find you, you die. Bioweapons ready for deployment to all remaining targets, reported Lieutenant Minji. Neural disruption patterns are locked on all crew areas. The surviving pirates could hear the screams of their comrades dying on the ships that had already been targeted. They knew what was coming for them, and they were terrified. Some tried to abandon ship in escape pods, but the silent reapers. Point defense systems destroyed the small craft before they could get away. Beginning final elimination sequence, announced Chief Gunner Sung-Gi. All remaining pirate vessels targeted. But before the weapons could fire, communications officer Youngji detected something unexpected. Captain, incoming transmission from outside the system. It is a Skorath Empire fleet commander. Put it through, Hyunwoo ordered. A new alien face appeared on the screen. This Skorath wore the uniform of an admiral and looked older and more intelligent than Commander Grex. Human vessel, I am Admiral Cax of the Skorath Imperial Navy. I order you to cease your attack immediately. Those ships are under the protection of the Empire. Captain Hyunwoo stared at the alien admiral with cold eyes. Admiral Cax, those ships attacked a peaceful research station and murdered innocent civilians. They will be destroyed. The Skorath. Empire will not tolerate this aggression, Admiral Cax replied. If you destroy our ships, we will consider it an act of war against our entire civilization. Through the bio-neural network, the human crew shared the same thought. The Skorath Empire thought they could threaten humans with war. They had no idea what they were suggesting. Admiral, Captain Hyunwoo said slowly, let me explain something to you. When you threaten innocent people, you are not just fighting one human ship. You are fighting all of humanity, and humans do not lose wars. The channel went silent. Admiral Cax was beginning to understand that he had just made a terrible mistake. Admiral Cax's threat of war hung in the silence of space like a challenge that could reshape the galaxy. On the Silent Reaper, Captain Hyunwoo felt the collective response of his crew through the bio-neural network. 30 humans who had volunteered for a suicide mission to save innocent people were now being threatened by an empire that protected pirates and murderers. Admiral Cax, Hyunwoo said calmly, I want to make sure I understand your position correctly. You are threatening war against humanity because we stopped your people from murdering innocent scientists? The Skorath Admiral's face showed confusion and growing alarm. He had expected the human ship to back down when faced with the power of the Empire. Most civilized species would negotiate or retreat when threatened with interstellar war. Humans were not most civilized species. The vessels under attack are citizens of the Skorath Empire, Admiral Cax replied, trying to sound authoritative. What they were doing is irrelevant. You have no authority in this system. Communications Officer Youngji was monitoring Skorath military frequencies through the bio-neural interfaces. Captain, Admiral Cax has a fleet of 12 ships about 6 hours away from this system. He is ordering them to advance at maximum speed. Lieutenant Minji checked her weapon systems one more time. 12 ships will not be enough, she said with grim satisfaction. We can handle 12 ships. But Captain Hyunwoo was thinking bigger than just one battle. The Skorath Empire had millions of ships across hundreds of star systems. If they declared war on humanity, it would mean massive bloodshed across the galaxy, unless the humans sent the right message today. Fenrir, open a communication channel to Earth, he commanded the ship's AI. Maximum priority. I need to speak with Admiral Jiwan immediately. Channel established, the AI replied. Admiral Jiwan is standing by. The main screen split to show both Admiral Cax and Admiral Jiwan simultaneously. The human admiral looked calm and ready for anything. She had been expecting this call. Captain Hyunwoo, I assume you have encountered some diplomatic complications, Admiral Jiwan said with dry humor. Yes, ma'am. Admiral Cax of the Skorath Empire is threatening to declare war on humanity if we destroy the pirates who murdered innocent civilians. Admiral Jiwan turned her attention to the alien admiral. When she spoke, her voice carried the authority of someone who had fought in a dozen wars and won them all. Admiral Cax, I am Admiral Jiwan of the Terran Defense Force. Before you make any threats you cannot take back, let me explain something about humans. We do not start wars. But when someone else starts a war with us, we finish it completely. Admiral Cax's confident expression was beginning to crack. You cannot threaten the entire Skorath Empire. We have millions of ships and billions of soldiers. Numbers are not everything, Admiral Jiwan replied. Ask the Centauri Republic about numbers. They outnumbered us 50-1 when they declared war 20 years ago. Ask the Vegan Confederacy about numbers. They had the largest fleet in the galaxy when they attacked our colonies. The alien admiral's face went pale as he realized what the human was saying. Both of those civilizations had been defeated by humanity in wars that became legends of tactical brilliance and unstoppable determination. On the research station, Harmony's Edge, Dr. Hana and the survivors listened to this conversation with growing amazement. They had called for help and a single human ship had arrived. Now they were hearing that this ship might be about to start an interstellar war to protect them. Silent Reaper, this is Dr. Hana, she called on the radio. We do not want you to start a war because of us. Maybe we can negotiate with the pirates. Captain, Hyunwoo's response was immediate and final. Dr. Hana, there will be no negotiation with murderers. These pirates killed your colleagues. They threatened your life and the lives of everyone on your station. They will pay the price for their crimes. Through the bio-neural network, every crew member felt the same absolute determination. This was not about politics or territory. This was about the simple principle that evil must be stopped, no matter what the cost. Admiral Cax, Admiral Jiwan continued, let me offer you a choice. You can order your pirates to surrender, and we will take them back to Earth for trial. Or you can declare war on humanity, and we will destroy every Scoreth military vessel in the galaxy. The choice is yours." "You are insane," Admiral Cax replied. "You cannot fight an entire empire with a few ships." "A few ships?" Admiral G1 smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. "Admiral, you seem to have misunderstood the situation. The Silent Reaper is not our only ship. It is just the first one to arrive." As if summoned by her words, new contacts appeared on the tactical displays of both fleets. Human ships were dropping out of faster-than-light travel all around the Velthara system. Destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and carriers appeared in formation, their weapons already charged and ready for combat. I took the liberty of calling for reinforcements when we received the original distress signal, Admiral G1 explained. 37 ships of the Terran Defense Force are now in your system, Admiral Cax. Would you like to reconsider your position? The Skorath Admiral stared at the tactical display showing human warships surrounding his position. Each ship was smaller than a Skorath vessel, but human engineering focused on speed, stealth, and overwhelming firepower. The aliens had numbers. The humans had technology that could turn numbers into meaningless statistics. Commander Grex, who had been listening to this conversation from his damaged flagship, finally found his voice. "Admiral Cax, do not start a war over us. These humans are not like other species. They do not fight by civilized rules." "What do you mean?" Admiral Cax demanded. "They appeared from nowhere and destroyed my entire fleet without being detected," Grex explained, his voice shaking with fear. "Their weapons cause pain beyond description. They are not civilized beings. They are monsters." On the Silent Reaper, Engineer Sergeant Kayong Min smiled at the pirate commander's description. "Monsters," he repeated. "I like that." Captain Hyunwoo opened a general communication channel to address all the Skorath forces in the system. "Commander, Grex is correct. We are monsters, but we are monsters who protect innocent people. When you threaten scientists and researchers, you make us very angry." The human fleet began moving into attack positions around the crippled pirate vessels. Each ship was a masterpiece of military engineering, designed by a species that had learned warfare on a planet where everything was trying to kill everything else. Admiral Cax watched the human formations and felt a chill run through his body. The aliens moved with perfect coordination, like a pack of predators that had hunted together for years. Their ship designs looked efficient and deadly, with none of the decorative elements that other species use to make their vessels look impressive. "Admiral G1," he said finally, "what are your terms?" "Simple," the human admiral replied. "All surviving pirates will be transferred to human custody for trial. The Skorath Empire will compensate the families of the murdered scientists, and you will broadcast a message throughout your empire that research stations and civilian targets are under human protection. And if I refuse?" Admiral G1's expression became cold as deep space. "Then we will demonstrate why most of the galaxy calls us Deathworlders." "Your choice, Admiral." The Skorath Admiral looked at the tactical display showing 37 human warships ready for battle. He thought about the reports of what had happened to the Centauri Republic and the Vegan Confederacy when they had challenged humanity. Both civilizations had learned too late that humans did not fight wars to win territory or resources. They fought wars to completely destroy their enemies. "I accept your terms," Admiral Cax said quietly. On the research station, Dr. Hana felt tears of relief flowing down her face. The nightmare was over. The monsters had protected them, and the innocent were safe once again. The galaxy would remember this day. Pirates would think twice before attacking research stations, and somewhere in the darkness between stars, human ships would be watching and waiting, ready to protect anyone who needed help. Because that was what monsters did when they chose to be guardians instead of predators. They made the universe safer for everyone except the other monsters. 3 hours after the surrender of Admiral Cax, the Silent Reaper docked with Harmony's Edge research station. The massive human warship connected to the station's main docking port with mechanical precision, but the crew inside moved with surprising gentleness as they prepared to help the survivors. Dr. Hana waited in the docking bay with the other scientists and Velthari refugees. She had never seen humans in person before. Most species in the galaxy knew about Earth and its people, but few had direct contact with them. Humans were considered dangerous, unpredictable, and best avoided. The airlock doors opened with a soft hiss, and Captain Hyunwoo stepped through first. Dr. Hana was surprised by what she saw. He was tall and broad-shouldered, but his movements were careful and controlled. His eyes were kind, though she could see depths of determination that spoke of someone capable of great violence when necessary. "Dr. Hana?" he asked, his voice gentle, "despite the authority it carried?" "Yes, that's me," she replied, stepping forward. "Captain Hyunwoo, I cannot thank you enough for what you did. You saved all our lives." The captain nodded respectfully. "I am sorry we could not arrive in time to save your colleagues. The loss of Dr. Park and his team is a tragedy that should never have happened." Behind Captain Hyunwoo, more human crew, members entered the docking bay. Lieutenant Minji carried medical supplies, her weapon-calloused hands now devoted to healing instead of destruction. Engineer Sergeant Kyung Min brought repair equipment to fix the damage the pirates had caused. To the station, Chief Gunner Sung-hee, who had eliminated a dozen pirate ships just hours before, was now gently helping injured Velthari move to medical facilities. Dr. Hana watched these humans work and marveled at the contradiction they represented. These same people who had just destroyed an entire pirate fleet were now treating her wounded colleagues with incredible care and skill. They moved through the station like gentle giants, their massive forms contrasting sharply with their delicate treatment of the survivors. A young Velthari named Sela, the 5-year-old who had been hiding with her mother during the attack, approached Captain Hyunwoo shyly. Her wing-like appendages fluttered nervously as she looked up at the tall human. "Are you the monsters who protected us?" she asked in her musical voice. Captain Hyunwoo knelt down to her level, bringing his intimidating height down to something less frightening. "Some people call us monsters," he said gently. "But we are monsters who only hurt bad people. We would never hurt anyone like you or your mother." Sila considered this seriously, then reached out with one wingtip to touch the captain's hand. "Thank you for making the bad people go away." Communications Officer Youngji was working with the station's technical staff to restore full communications with the galaxy. "Dr. Hana, we have re-established contact with the Galactic Council. They are sending a diplomatic mission to take custody of the surviving pirates." "What will happen to them?" Dr. Hana asked. "They will be tried under human law for the murder of innocent civilians," Captain Hyunwoo replied. "The penalty for such crimes is severe." Lieutenant Minji finished treating the last of the injured scientists and joined the conversation. "The pirates will not hurt anyone ever again," she said simply. "We make sure of that." Over the next few hours, the human crew worked tirelessly to repair the damage the pirates had caused to the research station. Engineer Kyung-min's team fixed the hull breaches and restored life support systems. They also installed something extra, an advanced defense grid that would protect the station from any future attacks. "What kind of defensive system is this?" asked Dr. Yuki, the station's communication expert, as she watched the humans install mysterious devices around the docking ports. "It is a gravitational minefield," Engineer Kyungmin explained. "If any hostile ships approach the station, the mines will activate and prevent them from moving. The system can also send an automatic distress signal directly to Earth." Dr. Hanai realized what this meant. "You are putting this station under permanent human protection." "All research stations are now under human protection," Captain Hyunwoo confirmed. "Admiral Ji-won has declared that any attack on civilian scientists will be considered an attack on humanity itself. We will not allow what happened here to happen anywhere else." The Velthari survivors listened to this with wonder and gratitude. Their crystal song voices joined together in a harmony of thanksgiving that filled the entire station. The music was beautiful beyond description, expressing emotions that words could never capture. "What are they singing?" asked Tactical Officer Dong-yun. "It is a song of protection," explained Sila's mother, whose name was Lyra. "We are naming your ship and your crew as guardians in our crystal songs. The music will carry your names across our world and to other Velthari communities throughout the galaxy." Captain Hyunwoo felt honored by this recognition, but also sobered by the responsibility it represented. "We hope we will never need to return for such a purpose," he said. As the repairs neared completion, Admiral Ji-won contacted the Silent Reaper with new orders. Her image appeared on the station's main communication screen, and Dr. Hana could see the satisfaction in the human admiral's eyes. "Captain Hyunwoo, Admiral Cax has completed the agreed-upon broadcasts," Admiral Ji-won reported. "Every Skorath, military unit in the galaxy now knows that research stations are under human protection. Early reports suggest that several planned pirate attacks on civilian targets have been canceled." "What about compensation for the families of the murdered scientists?" Dr. Hana asked. "The Skorath Empire has agreed to pay substantial compensation," Admiral Ji-won replied. "More importantly, they have agreed to help us track down other pirate groups that target civilian researchers. Fear is a powerful motivator." The human crew began preparing to depart as their repairs were completed. They had done everything possible to ensure the safety of Harmony's Edge and its survivors. The advanced defense system would protect against future attacks, and the galaxy now knew that humans were watching over peaceful research facilities. Dr. Hana walked with Captain Hyunwoo toward the docking port where the Silent Reaper waited. "Captain, I have a question that has been bothering me since you arrived." "What is it?" "When we sent our distress signal, we were hoping for rescue ships or negotiators. Instead, you came with weapons designed to destroy entire fleets. Why do humans respond to calls for help with such overwhelming force?" Captain Hyunwoo paused at the airlock and considered her question carefully. "Dr. Hana, most species try to solve problems with minimal force. They negotiate, they compromise, they try to find peaceful solutions. That approach works well when dealing with reasonable people. But pirates who murder innocent scientists are not reasonable people. They only understand force. When someone chooses to prey on the helpless, the only effective response is to make sure they never get the chance to do it again." Dr. Hana nodded slowly. "You came here not to rescue us, but to eliminate a threat to innocent people everywhere." "Exactly. We did not come to save just this station. We came to make sure no other station would face the same threat." The captain shook hands with Dr. Hana and the other survivors, then boarded his ship. The Silent Reaper detached from the station and moved away with the same silent grace it had shown during the battle. From the observation deck, Dr. Hana watched the human fleet prepare to leave. 37 warships that had been ready to fight an entire empire were now disappearing into faster-than-light travel, returning to patrol routes across human space. But she knew they would be back if anyone threatened innocent people again. The monsters had chosen to be guardians, and that choice had made the galaxy a much safer place for everyone except the other monsters. In her final report to the Galactic Council, Dr. Hana wrote, "When the darkness came for us, we called for help. The universe sent us humans. I understand now why most species fear them, but I also understand why that fear makes the galaxy safer for all of us. Sometimes, the best defense against monsters is having bigger monsters on your side." The research continued at Harmony's Edge, protected by crystal songs and gravitational mines, watched over by guardians who came from a death world called Earth. And in the depths of space, human ships continued their patrol, ready to answer any call for help with the same message they had always carried. When you threaten the innocent, you do not fight one human ship. You fight all of humanity. And humans do not lose.